Summer edition of the Clearing the Crease podcast. How you doing, everybody? We are back, enjoying summer, living the life of Riley, and hey, we are all having fun. Powered by BODOG.EU. I'm James Cybulski. He is the Stanley Cup winner, Mike Commodore. He is the Calder Trophy winner, Andrew Raycroft. Lots of fun lined up here on this edition with a special guest, a guy who is doing a tremendous amount of work off the ice since he's ended his playing days. And we'll get into that in terms of helping so many youths with dyslexia, doing some great work with the Brent Sopel Foundation. We're talking about 12 years in the National Hockey League. Brent Sopel with stops, former Vancouver Canuck, former Montreal Canadian, won a Stanley Cup with the Chicago Blackhawks, former Atlanta Thrasher, even some stops in Russia too, Commie. So I'm sure
I saw that. Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. Over 600 games in the National Hockey League. We'll get to Soaps here in a moment, but how's the summer going here, gentlemen?
Flying. It is flying by. Yeah, it's been great. It's been really good. We've been all over the world, busy. So the August is kind of when I'm like, all right, ready for the routine and ready to slow things down a little bit. But it's been fantastic.
Translation: you want the kids to go back to school?
Correct. Get them in school. That's enough. Daddy daycare time.
You've had your time.
Yeah, exactly.
Commie, Stampede, you're still alive?
Yeah, a quick couple days of Stampede, like just 2. That was enough. Yeah, it's been a different summer for me. I mean, I guess I was also out. I was out in the Okanagan playing a couple of Ken Holland. We got Ken. Ken's coming on the show. I know he's no longer a GM, but he will be again. I would guarantee that. But played in a couple golf things. But other than that, it has been a different summer because I've been sitting here in Phoenix just roasting.
Oh.
And all I do, I don't golf. You got Henry. He's laying at my feet here, the dog. All I do in Phoenix is just like walk the dog, but not really outside because it's too hot. So it's been an interesting summer. Different for me, I would say, but everything's good.
You know, it's funny. We were just up in the Okanagan last week as well, and we've been working on building a ski cabin this summer up outside of Penticton. And it's been hot. It's been hot around there, and obviously a lot of concerns about wildfires and all of it across the country. But here we are up the mountain last week. This is the last week of July, and it started to snow at one point up the mountain. Ooh. Now, if you went down the mountain, drove down 20 minutes, you're talking temperatures well into the 30 degrees Celsius.
In particular,
and here it was
like
flurry at Apex Mountain, yeah. And it started snowing for a few minutes on July 20th. It was like, really? What the HE double hockey sticks are we doing here?
Wow.
So, yeah. Meanwhile, Jasper is going, one direction, and we're going, how is it snowing here right now? So anyway, it sounds like you're having a good time, though. But getting roasted in Arizona, man, that's too hot for July and August.
Oh, man, it is painful. And it's like, I'm a sweater anyways. So, like, I just walked Henry this morning at 8 in the morning, and I am drenched.
5 shirts a day.
Oh, I don't even want to go outside. Like,
hibernate.
Anyways, life could be worse. I mean, at least I think I actually might prefer -30. I mean, to plus 48. I don't know. It's kind of close.
That's the Sasky. That's the Sasky coming out.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. And speaking of the dog days of summer, hey, we can all smile knowing that hockey season is right around the corner. People already starting to get back on the ice, and you can get your on-ice action early with BODOG.net. BODOG has you covered for all the props, features, and yes, you can lock in your pick, your early pick for Stanley Cup winner right now. Make your play, score big with BODOG, and don't forget you can check out the @BODOG.CA Twitter page. Our details how you can get up to $500 of free cash to play with right now. All right, let's bring our guest in here who also knows a little something about Sasky weather. I don't know if he'd still be down with -30 degrees.
150% comment. I'll take the -30 any day.
There we go.
Oh,
see? Yes. There we go. I got somebody else on my side.
This is why he lives in Chicago, right? Like a northern city in America right there. Brent Sopel joining us here. Soaps, how are you, man?
I'm well, gentlemen. How's everybody doing? Good to see your faces. Pay attention, watch what you guys do. Commie, those purses, are those yours?
Yeah.
I don't judge. I try everything
indirectly.
Time. You don't know.
I'm trying something new here. Soaps moving in. My track record with women isn't very good as far as I don't get. So I'm trying. We just moved in a month ago, and this is the decor. I mean, I don't have much, but anything that I kind of have is just shoved into a cupboard, and honestly,
You and me both. Like,
I just
listen,
don't
my
even say
divorce,
anything
my ex-wife's got everything, so everybody asks me about money. I'm like, go call her, and you know, I found a new one, getting married soon, and she's just as messed up as I am, so it's working out well.
Perfect.
We're both sober, so that's the one thing doing together.
Well, nicely done, and man, what a story for you in terms of just redemption of life and everything that you've had. But what a journey, Soaps! And I guess the one I guess there's so many different areas we could go. I mean, we first crossed paths more than 20 years ago when I was working in Vancouver and you were rocking out with the Vancouver Canucks. But I guess where I'd like to start is you had, much like our fellow co-host here, Mike Commodore, spent a few years in Russia. Is there a Russia story that immediately comes to mind from your experience in the K?
There's about 10,000. Obviously, let's start with obviously the plane, locomotive going down.
Right.
I was sitting in Moscow airport literally at that point in time.
Yeah.
So only a few hours away from that. Actually, I was having conversations with them earlier in the summer to play there. So
to go play there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, start with the Debbie Downer. Obviously, rest in peace to all of them. To those guys. But where to begin? I know everybody always talks about the Russian gas and training camps. Let's have the 60-day training camps. Like
2 days.
We're already August 1st, right? Today, which I can't believe. Razor, I agree. My youngest is 20, so I couldn't wait for the kids to go back to school. But 2 days for 60 straight days, and if you're a goal scorer, you didn't score 40 goals, or tearing up your contract. Okay. This is not a running body. Don't put me on the ice and go run 10 kilometers and get back on the ice. It was not happening.
Were you just interested in going over to Russia when you decided to make the move, or were you thinking about anywhere else, or like country wise?
Go back to we go kind of touch with my dyslexia side. I was so afraid of the real world, because I was reading in grade 4 at Illinois High School, so I couldn't do the simple things. So block and shot, I didn't give a fuck. That pain was less than what I would feel coming home to try and do an email or something like that. So I was going to go anywhere. I wasn't going for the money. I was going anywhere just to do the one thing I knew how, was play hockey. And it happened to work out again. I was in Novo Kuznets.
I saw that. I was like, oh boy.
What's the deal there?
Yeah.
I'd never been there, but I heard it's a dump.
Okay.
Keep going. I'm cutting you off. Keep going.
So fly 5 hour east to Moscow.
All right. That'll do it.
It's actually, have you heard that heroin? It's called the crocodile tears.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's where it was created.
Oh Jesus.
Oh mama.
So as many bad things go on there, I have to say it saved my life, because I continued to play hockey. Obviously I was known as a whack job, in the game of hockey. Is I never took a nap. I've never taken a nap in my life before a game.
Not one.
If we're in Anaheim, I go to Disneyland, and I didn't know why till this year. So I found out, I got 40s, ADHD, dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia, which is a math, reading, writing, and ADHD. The more tired I was going to the rink, the less those worked.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I understand the thinking of that. Yeah,
which I didn't connect those dots till just like the last 6 months. So all the work,
because you're not as stimulated in terms of.
It was almost like I could play hockey and not think hockey. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, sure.
So everybody's like, dude, you walked around, you in the mall, you're going to Disneyland, you're coming to play hockey, and like, yeah, I'm up. I didn't know what it was, but now I know what it is. So I could play hockey and not, if I thought or something was going on, I put my head in the stands, I was done.
Did coaches give you for that? Like, did you have issues at points where guys were like, are you paying attention to, like, what's your deal?
Yeah, well, that was everybody. Look at me. Well, now, I don't know if you guys saw them, on the foundation, White Snake's back,
I saw that video this morning. I laughed.
Yeah. I said, if we raised $10,000 in a July event, I did something. So I got White Snake, that's back. No, you know what it was, Razor? It was obviously, back in the day, they didn't give a shit what we did. Just go and do your job.
Yeah.
Go drink, go whatever, show up. I don't give a just come out, just show up. So nobody really gave me an issue. They all thought I was weird, weird because my approach to the game was very different than anybody else. Like guys are running, taking a 5-hour nap. The Saturday night games, right? The late start, that's an hour nap. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do in an extra hour? So they never gave me, but they always looked at me like a side eye, like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Did you get your own room because of that? Or
100%.
Did you have,
I got a roommate for
maybe
a week and a half my whole career. Remember back in the days, you needed 400 games to get your own room? Oh, no, I ain't got 4. I have my own room.
Immediately.
I ain't rooming with this guy. I don't care what you guys think.
You probably weren't spending much time in it because you were, doing things before the game and running around. But at the end of the day, it is your own room.
Remember Colorado in Denver when they moved to Cherry Creek? The mall was down, so I'm out there shopping, or San Jose. I'm coming back and shopping. Bad guys are coming down for the snack. I come shopping. You're not playing? Oh, I'm playing. Just let me put this up here, So I look at my road trips. Okay, we got Anaheim. All right, head up to Disneyland, watch some people watching there. Maybe hit a few rides. This trip, So it was all the trips were what could I do during the game. Saturdays, obviously, was college football. But that was pretty much the only time that I'd spend in my room, before the game.
Really?
3.5, 4 hours before game, I'm at the rink.
So college football on Saturdays or whatever during college football season, that was okay. You could sit in the room and watch that. You were good with that.
I'm good with that. Talking on the phone, watching that. But I wasn't there. I wasn't sleeping. Furthest thing from sleeping. I was just grab my ketchup and spaghetti, my chicken, bury that, and go upstairs and
Whoa! Did you just say ketchup on spaghetti?
I'm actually with Soaps on this one.
Tell me something that ketchup doesn't go on. Ketchup and French toast? Absolutely.
Okay, I'm not with them on that
sandwich?
I like ketchup in a lot of things that French toast I haven't done.
Oh, it's so good. That's this Sunday. My wife's like, dude.
You know what? French toast needs to be enjoyed more of a sweet, like maple syrup you want to put on there.
Ketchup sandwich? Come home from the bar, I bury a whole loaf of bread and ketchup.
Hurry up.
Am I Saskatchewan truly coming out of me now?
Oh man, like honestly, ketchup is like the Atlanta Thrashers of condiments.
Oh, ouch! Hey, listen, that was my favorite place to play.
Atlanta?
Why? Again, the weather was great. People in the South, you hold the door and you got the thank you, not the you.
No, in Southern hospitality, there is a thing. That is legit for sure.
We would have good crowds. Again, I think you guys, we all talk about warm markets, right? Razor, you're Melton. If you have a secondary option, like Edmonton, you have no other option. You don't have golfing. You don't have pickleball. You don't have tennis. You have to be good.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, nobody shows up.
Nobody shows up. Look at Florida. How many years did we talk about? They suck no crowds. Now look at them; they're the best thing in sliced bread. Tampa, same thing. Phoenix. If they had good teams, if they went on a run with 5 or 6 years of great teams, they wouldn't have left.
Different story.
Again, Tommy, you're there. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, 100%. I think if they would have had 5 or 6 years of good teams, even when that rink was like out in the middle of nowhere, they would have got people there. Now, if you combine that with a rink in some place that's like even like remotely close to like a decent location, I don't think they ever would have left. I totally agree.
Did I hear that correctly? They offered that land to Gretz for free. That's why they took it and fucked them on the lease.
That I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Gretzky, I think, had his fingers in things. I don't want to comment on that either because I don't really know.
Yeah, I heard that too. Again, I'm not no record here. Let me just.
No, 100%.
That's what I heard.
There was some reason I had heard, but maybe this was the bullshit. I had heard that they thought that the population here was going to move west. The population didn't move west; it went east. Now that could be some bullshit excuse. Once they figured it, you would think they would have an idea because it hasn't really gone east at all.
Well, that's the old story about the Edmonton airport too, right? I think they thought that population was supposed to move in that direction. that airport remains an outpost.
Well, what about Denver? Is
that my God, the worst air. That's like in another state for crying out loud.
Yeah, it's a long drive.
For the first time landing there, it's like, okay.
There's no green light. When you fly to Denver after game, there's no green light because by the time you get there, it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's closed. Yeah. You're right.
So I got a question about another place. Now I know you weren't there long, but I have some buddies there, and it's kind of a city that kind of sort of comes up a little bit. And I know you only played 4 games there, but Kansas City. And, like you weren't there long, but were you literally there for like a week, or was it a little bit longer than that? How was the crowds there decent? I know it was the old IHL with the Blades.
Yeah, I know it was. I got the same time. Remember the old 2-week, 14-day conditioning stint?
Yeah.
That was one of my. I'm probably 62. I went. Mark Crawford and I obviously, I played most of my games. Him and I had a little love-hate. So it's when he sat my ass down for 30 straight. Now you're going down to KC. So no, it's a great town. Obviously, you take a look at the Chiefs. Look what they do. It's like Chicago, Midwest. Good people. A lot of fun. Can they put a team there? I don't know. They wouldn't approve of that. They tried to build. They're talking about building a new facility for the Chiefs. They wouldn't approve that. So is that somewhere you want to go? Somewhere Super Bowl champs done that one back to back, and you're not going to build them a facility. The Royals won. I don't know how many years ago. MLB.
Not that long ago. Yeah.
Not that long ago either.
They're
and they
fighting the city.
Great city. Great city. Love the city. Great meat. Had a lot of fun there.
I think they have a stadium ready to go for hockey now. Yeah, right now. I'm like 95% sure of that. They got I think it's called the Sprint Center. It's an arena, really? Like 80,000. Yeah, or not 80,000. Sorry, 18,000 or something like that. Downtown now.
Ooh,
Connie's in on the bid.
Yeah. Are you the Anson Carter of the Atlanta?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's me.
I
wouldn't mind if we went there, to be honest.
Tommy and Patrick Mahomes, right there.
So what'd you do with the Cup? What'd you do when you guys, and talk a little bit about that group? You guys beat us. I was in Vancouver that year. You guys beat us in the second round. Pounded us 3 games in GM place or whatever it was at the time. And I mean, we had a chance in game 1 and that was it. But what did you do with the Cup? What was that run like? How good was that team?
I think I was -4 game 1 too. So
yeah, it was 5-2 win. 5-2
win. I was living, in the suburbs of Chicago, from farm boy, never in the city. I had kids. So at that point in time, I kept it here. I didn't bring it back to Sask. I had a big part here. I went to a hospital, police station, fire department, did that crew. I ended up getting lucky enough to having it a couple times. I ended up having it for 48 hours. So, had a big party, after I made that run. So being local, I ended up getting the Stanley Cup, a lot. Obviously, I ended up taking it as the first athlete ever to participate in the Pride Parade. So I had it that day. So that goes back to 2010, breaking down some barriers there. I took it there in honor of Brendan Burke.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, Burke's son, obviously. That obviously he was a GM there, but every time we go to Boston, he was stick. When that was the year that he came out, I was gay, and then he died in that car accident.
Yep.
So I took there. So again, raised, I ended up having it. Take local, did that tour, but party my ass off. I think I slept 2 hours that whole last weekend. So one of the reasons why I don't drink anymore too.
There you go.
But the best part is, I actually just partnered up. The foundation just partnered up with the NHL Charity Foundation. So October 18th, I get Stanley Cup again.
Yeah, I saw that. Run me, you were. I saw you're selling tickets, and every $25. Like, run me through that night.
Yeah. So we're doing for the month of August. For every $25 donation to the foundation, you get your name into a hat for 2 tickets to dinner with the Stanley Cup.
Oh, cool.
That dinner is going to be October 18th in Chicagoland. Obviously, keeping that location secret. But for every donation, every time you put $100 in, you get your name in 4 times. So for the month of August, again, you might have the ability to get your name drawn. It's a 501c3 full charity. Tax, all your tax exemptions with that. So trying to do good things in different ways.
That's that's outstanding. And I mean, you had, you look back on that 2010 team when you win, and you finally get your moment, you get to hoist the cup. And you were a significant factor on that team, right? Like you played, I think, every game.
Oh, you told me. I was just half a goalie.
You're up there all the time.
But you you played, right? Like you got out there.
Yeah, I know. It's my own philosophy. If it was hitting me, I knew it was going in the net. So I didn't care what it took. I knew, we had a chance. And as we got later in the playoffs, I knew, my career was almost over. I think I was, 35 years old. I could barely move now. So, so many surgeries. I got more metal in my body than half the planes now. So I was going to do whatever it took, to get to that point. And, again, the craziest thing is, it was one of the most amazingest, emptiest feelings I've ever had in my life.
Really?
When winning, after you won?
It was obviously, it's our childhood dream. We both, all three of us know that. But the emptiness was the not knowing myself. Why didn't I connect? Just that whole dyslexia, ADHD, addiction portion of me came screaming out at me, going, "Why me? What's wrong with me?" At the exact same time as I'm lifting that cup.
Oh, gotcha.
How long did it take to? Are you past that now, or?
Yeah, I didn't get diagnosed until I was 32 that I was dyslexic.
Yeah, that was my next question. How long ago it was? Okay.
Yeah, and I only found out.
Crazy.
Yeah, because I got my daughter tested.
You're right. Yeah.
And then they go back and like, oh, that's me. So if my daughter never had it, I'd be still sitting here talking to you guys, not knowing. I think I'm dumb every day. That's how I wake up, because that's what I was told my whole life. So that's kind of the emptiness. Now I'm obviously on the other side of it. That's why I have the foundation. I started the foundation, so no kid could ever, feel like me is my whole goal. Not connecting, wondering why can't you read the simple things? Why can't a lot of dyslexics don't know your left's right? Go up there, hey, you can tell the kid to turn left, he turns right. Kid, well, you're not paying. No, I'm trying, but just those simple things. So I'm past that, Razor. The alcohol. I'm almost over 8 years, but it took a long time to get here, and that's why I do what I do, and that's why I'm honest. I sold my Stanley Cup ring. I've been homeless. I literally have to start my life over again. And I tell that not boo-hoo, but because, whoever hears it, that they're not alone in those struggles and those addiction struggles. I was almost dead before 40 with the drugs and alcohol. I loved it. So good.
Well, good for you for coming out of it, man. That's amazing.
So were you always that guy, though?
What's that?
Were you always that guy, or did you kind of find, the booze and the drugs later in your career?
I think we start in Saskatchewan. We start drinking when we're 5. People are like, come on. I'm like, oh, you don't know Saskatchewan. All you do is drink instead of sex when it's -50 out.
Vitamin P, right?
Right. So
there we go.
A little kokanee. So I started drinking, obviously at a young. I hit it really hard after. I was buying my ecstasy and Molly 100 at a time and crushing through those, in a week, and be up for 4 or 5 straight days and get up Friday morning, go to bed Sunday night, and have no clue where I was and who I was with and who I slept with, and because I was escaping from me, right? Feeling that pain, and it goes back to why did I continue playing? Commie's first question. I didn't care what I was going to play. You just took away the only thing I was good at, the only thing in the world, and I hit it really, really hard. I always drank and always had to be the last man standing. It didn't matter if it was 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 48 hours straight. I was going to sit there and do it. I was just who I was. But after the game of hockey, everybody wants to talk about CTE. You guys can jump in on this also. I got it. I think every boy has it. We're doing, off the top bunk bed, off her brother to her cousin. We're 2 years old, we're 5 years old, but it's, what are we going to do after something we've done our whole life? I was almost 40.
And you're still young, right? That's the other thing. Like 40 is, you're starting to.
I got grandkids, so let's say I don't know about young. My grandkids are 2 and 4, so quite young.
This might be like, I don't know if you want to. I don't know if this is the right question or a good question. So when you were down and out, so to speak, or did somebody come, kind of get you and kind of put you towards the right path, or was that you reaching out or finding it yourself? Or
no, it was actually at a wedding, and my parent. It was here in Chicago, and my parents we were at the wedding, and I was completely. We went out Friday night, Tavern on Rush. I know you guys know what that is.
I've been there.
Never heard of it. Never heard of it.
Yeah, never been there, right?
Good to see here.
So I had a buddy and his wife from Saskatoon, and my parents. I buried a bottle of vodka at dinner. Then I went out with them. My parents went home. My parents said, "What the actual is this?" They've never seen this. Again, I'm living here. They're living there. They would go to the wedding, and I had a bag full at my date at that time, right? And I got in a huge fight with her there. Couldn't tell you anything. 5 o'clock in the morning, got in a fight. drove home completely annihilated. So there ended up being an intervention 2 days later.
Okay.
So they also literally, saved my life because, I had from intervention to throw me into rehab. So I wasn't reaching out. I was on a mission. My goal was to kill myself. Right? I've sat in the train. I've thought about suicide thousands and thousands. I sat in front of the train just to end this many, 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 many times. So they saved me by throwing me in there, rehab, and did 45 days in rehab. I came home and did 180 meetings of AA in 180 days, and basically didn't associate or talk to anybody for a year. I kind of lived alone almost to sit with, and I had to learn how to be okay with my.
Yeah.
Man, it's powerful.
Yeah,
you should be proud. Really
yeah,
proud.
You should be real proud.
I'm curious, Soaps, so winning the Stanley Cup, you felt empty. What was the best moment in the NHL? Positive. Let's go happy. What was the happiest point while you were in your NHL career?
Well, no, and listen,
first game,
all that negative stuff is positive, because now if I didn't go through that, I couldn't be here today speaking out for every kid on dyslexia. So it's not negative. My story's not negative. So it's positive. I remember Hockey Night in Canada. Third game, scoring my goal against Edmonton, a 1-1 tie. Remember those boys?
1-1 tie. Shots each.
And Doug, you might tied it up. We go to OT. I think, the Moose, Mark Messier was on the ice for it. So my parents ended up driving 20 hours from Saskatoon to Vancouver to be there. So that was pretty special. And winning the Stanley Cup. I think it's one of 1,300 people ever to win it once, and then obviously there's some people that won it twice. It's given me the platform to speak and be here and advocate for people with addiction and people with mental health and depression. I've got that. I've got all these. So it's all positive, Razor. Yeah. It's given me a platform to talk about it and go to the White House in Washington and advocate there, and again, and then also go back. Childhood dream. How many times did we each win it? On that outdoor rink, scoring that goal, or lifting that thing up, and so it's winning that goal. I will never forget. Obviously, my kids were in Philadelphia. We had extra security guards because obviously people in Philly are fucking crazy. Right.
Yeah. Never bad.
I told the families that you can't wear jerseys.
Right.
I got kids. I had a buddy. He's a heart surgeon. Get his hand, taking a piss. He's getting his head slammed against the, pisser. Like, what is this? A Stanley Cup or World War I? Like, it's, yeah. So it's not my kids there old enough to take part of it, and I got my daughter. She, I think my youngest it was my middle daughter who's dyslexic. It's her birthday 2 days later. We're at the parade. Look at honey, they're all here for your birthday. Really, Dad? All 4 million people? I'm like, yeah, honey, they love you. Little things like that, are memories that I'll never forget. But it's all positive, no matter which way I look at it. It's given me a platform to speak, and still can say, it did something that very few people in the world have ever had.
Hey, so I want to throw at you, but where we first crossed paths in Vancouver, you're there at a time where the team hadn't been in the playoffs for years, right? And there's that whole transition, and then the West Coast Express era where, you guys didn't really win much, but at the same time, like, that was a period of time for that franchise in the Vancouver market that really brought the fan base back, like packed houses every night, exciting hockey. You had a very vocal GM with Brian Burke. You had a borderline crazy coach with Mark Crawford. But I mean, you guys were like rock stars. I mean, the Twins are young. You got Bertuzzi, Naslund, Morrison. What was that period like? That must have been a fun period.
Oh, 100%. Obviously, that city, when you're winning, it's the best city in the world. Yeah. When you're losing, it's the fucking worst.
Yes, agreed.
I had bad games. I'd wake up with notes and on my dad, Sopel, you suck, or cinder blocks through my window of my truck. And
that's just your coach.
Vancouver's not big, right? It's a little island. So when you're winning, they know where you are. And when you're losing, they really know where you are.
So last one for me. Tell me a little bit. Tell me about the Y program.
Yeah, the Y.
What you doing now? And I know you're on the ice like 4 or 5 times a week or something like that.
Yeah, I started the Y program is to educate coaches on how to teach kids. And what I mean by that, I'm dyslexic, so I learn differently. If you have ADHD, you learn differently. So it's the hockey culture, and the rest of the world is know how to teach one way. So it's trying to educate. So what I do, I go into programs, and I need to know each parent, if your kid has mental health, if you have learning disorders, what are those learning disorders? So then I can sit with the coaches or sit with the GMs, sit with the organization, how to teach your kid the right way. For an example, as I was saying, kids don't know a left from a right. A dyslexic kid, you're telling him go play left wing, and you're yelling at him because he's going on the wrong side. Well, just educate. And there's nothing bad about the coach, but if you don't teach the coach how we learn, you're not going to learn, right? Yeah. So I've had coaches that, ADHD, kids, staring at the birds. They're paying attention in their way. And I've had some coaches wanted to kick the kid off the team. So it's just giving them more knowledge of, what learning disorders are, ADHD, and, how many Joe Busters have we had in our day, right? Go out there. I guarantee Madura will have ADHD, but we're getting screamed at. Just so it's more knowledge, knowledge base of once you know what the kid has, then educating what that coach is, the assistant coach or, goalie raiser, again, left to right, your angles. If they don't know what that is, they're going the opposite way. If they're thinking and not reacting, as we both know, right, you're done.
Yeah, you're done.
So it's just creating something a little bit different for all sports, no matter what it is. Soccer. My daughter played lacrosse. You go left. She didn't know what that is. So it was teaching the coaches where the sidelines were. A lot of my kids, dyslexic kids, I paint their thumb in their glove. The left thumb. So they can just look down or left, and they know where to be. So just little tricks like that. That make things a little bit easier. Or some of the young kids want to have fun. Good, their left lace is different color, or just little tricks like that to help educate coaches.
Yeah, nice.
That's awesome. And so it's the Brent Sopel Foundation. What you've done as well. I just read a great article, in the New York Post about the work that you've been doing. You got a podcast as well. What you've been able to do, obviously a remarkable career, over 600 games in the National Hockey League, Stanley Cup champion. Like that is something you can hang your hat on, but it almost feels like the work that you're doing in the years since you stopped playing is way more remarkable because you're saving lives out there. You're making a difference.
Well, no, I appreciate you. It's, you talk about that empty feeling. This is my purpose now, to help anybody, and anybody
more rewarding for you.
Right. I don't care, if anybody's struggling with addiction, mental health, none of that doesn't discriminate. Doesn't race, nationality, culture, religion. I don't care. I will help anybody possibly I can, no matter who that is. And, a lot of people don't find that purpose, and I have, and that's where the Dyslexia Foundation, the Sopel Foundation, get up, day or night to have that purpose in life. And, NHL and guys like yourself and having me on here has given me the ability to help more people. So, it's greatly appreciated from my side.
Awesome. Well, so thanks so much for this. Before we let you go, we're just going to put you on the spot, and because we just love to with all of our guests and just go with a way too early Stanley Cup prediction for 2025. Who you got? Who is joining your company as a Stanley Cup champion?
Definitely not the Toronto Maple Leafs. So let's just start We'll get that part up, right?
Oh yeah.
And Tommy, we'll talk about the Babs situation a little bit later.
Let's save that for next time.
I like what Nashville has done, but I don't think they're getting out of the Central. I think you look at Colorado. Obviously, I think that's who we're. That's where my pick is. Is Colorado. Repeating back to back now is too tough, too short of a turnaround. To have winning a Stanley Cup and having the draft that 2 days later is insane. Like, what do we want? I think it was. I want to say June 9th. Okay, I can handle that. But June 24th or whatever bullshit. So Colorado is where I'm picking.
There we go.
Good.
Where can people find you on social?
Brent Sopel. I don't know if it's an underscore or a dot. Look for the guy with the Stanley Cup with the face on the mother can love, and with my white stick hair.
There you go.
Perfect.
Still making it look sexy after all these years. The one and the only Brent Sopel doing some amazing work off the ice and a Stanley Cup champion on it, joining us here on the Clearing the Crease podcast. The Clearing the Crease podcast rolls on. Cybulski, Razor, Kami. All right, time for the fan question of the week. All you got to do, if you want to get hooked up with some free stuff, how about like a free NHL jersey, courtesy of your friends and ours at BODOG? All you got to do, real simple, reply to this video wherever you're watching it. All right. Send a note. You can slide into our DMs on Twitter. Maybe slide into Commies, but they'll slide into BODOG. You can do it on Instagram, on YouTube, wherever. And if we pick your question, you get yourself a free NHL jersey, courtesy of your friends and ours at BODOG. So this week's winner, way to go, Dennis from Ajax, Ontario, asking, boys, just want to take a shot at winning a jersey, which you've correctly and successfully have done. So going to keep it simple. What team needed to make big moves this summer and just didn't make it happen? Thanks for the great show. So who missed this offseason, in your opinion? Razor?
Colorado Avalanche. I know Soaps just brought them up. They're in a tough spot with Gabe Landeskog, him still kind of wanting to come back. So their hands were tied a little bit, but for a team that is expected to contend with the Makars, the McKinnons, they had a little bit of goalie issues. I know Georgiev wins 40 games every year, but it was dicey at times, and they didn't go get anybody. Nashville got better. Dallas got better. The powerhouses out west continued to improve on their teams. I don't think Colorado did. So I'm going to go with the Colorado Avalanche as a team that I don't think did enough, despite the talent they still have.
Kami.
Good one. Yeah, I'm going to go with a team that I thought that surprised. Well, they surprised all of us last year for sure. Saw them play live. They had a really good team. They made some moves at the deadline to pick some guys up. I think I might have actually, to a couple people, I might have picked them to win the whole thing. The Winnipeg Jets. I really like their team. And unless they've got some guys they love coming up through the pipeline, like immediately, they didn't really add anything, and they had a few guys leave. So for me, when you have that goaltender and you've got some really good pieces there, their decor was big. They lost some guys. Anyways, I thought they had a team that could win in the playoffs, and Colorado kind of spanked them. Yeah. But yeah, Winnipeg will be it for me.
Staying in the Central.
Yeah, what a weird and go figure. Goaltending kind of let them down in that postseason too, right? For all the talk, right? Great. For all the talk, Hellebuck, and then it was like, well, they won that game one, and it was like 12-11 in that first game, and then all of a sudden, like the bottom.
I would have loved him try to pull that off in Toronto or Montreal or Vancouver and see how that goes.
Yeah, see how that plays out. You know what? I'll throw out the New York Rangers. I don't know. I just, obviously they went to a conference final. They were right there. But, for a team that has been very active in the off seasons, year after year after year, and they typically reel in a big fish, I feel like kind of a muted off season for the Rangers.
Oh, yeah. And they got Trouba not taking a deal and not leaving. They had a lot of stuff going on there too. Yeah. That'll be an interesting one out west or in the East, because everyone got better in the East. Everyone got better but the Rangers. And I think that's part of it too, right? Like, who didn't do enough? Well, if you didn't do anything, you're way behind because everyone's stacked up.
Yeah. I actually, that was a great question for our trivia. I actually got a question a little bit to you guys because I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. Did Pittsburgh do anything? Much?
No, I think not much.
Okay, well, actually, it'll be Pittsburgh for me more than because they got Crosby there. They got in Pittsburgh. I don't know what the hell they're doing there then either with Crosby's last. Well, who knows how long he's going to play. Looks
and
great.
Kyle Dubas still gets promoted to like the executive director of Canada, right?
Once you're in, you're in.
Yeah,
good for him. I mean, great gig in Canada, right?
Just making money. Do whatever you want. Get
Carlson. All right. Hey,
pick up Carlson. You already have Letang. Whatever. I'll take Carlson too, and 90% of his salary. Terrible move. Get a promotion.
You get a raise. You get a raise. You get a raise. Hey, before we wrap up, I'm just going to throw this out to you guys randomly, but I want to give props to Carlo Koliakovo, who threw this out. I think I saw it on social media, but talking about how is ball hockey not an Olympic sport, right?
Oh, I saw that.
3-on-3 ball hockey. And I'd throw this to you guys. Would that be appealing to maybe former NHLers or even current? I don't know. Maybe it would be a gray area, but if an opportunity to play in the Olympics, like even off ice? Would that be an appeal for current or even former players?
Yeah, it could be for sure. I think the issue is you have to run a lot.
Right.
And what that looks like for at least the older guys, you would have to be really a young old guy to get in the mix. I would assume the ball hockey would be a 22-year-old. Like, I remember watching those games in Belleville, Ontario in the summer. There's no way I was stepping foot out there with those knuckleheads just fighting each other and cross-checking and slashing. And it was the little guys that could run forever and take wristers from the red line. But yeah, I would love, that would be electric, because that handball is a blast. And if they had real hockey, ball hockey, that would be a blast.
Razor, I'm just waiting for you to say, I'm playing out.
Oh, I would never play net. No way. That ball's moving everywhere. I'd look like an idiot all the time.
Just get
curveball, knuckleball. Yeah, get torched.
I think there'd be a little interest. Current guys know, but yeah, but you're right. I mean, I think for, like I said, I don't know how much you would get just because of guys who knows if they can keep up. But I think if you got some guys that wanted to stay in shape and could play, could run, and yeah,
it would translate. I mean, like, you can zip it around out there, right?
Yeah,
well, Razor,
I mean, for me personally, but I don't know if I could have kept up, but a chance to play in the Olympics, which I'd never done. If I was like close, I'd be like, man, it'd be a pretty cool way to go to the Olympics. So I would 100%. Give it a shot.
Yeah, that's
like,
I just thought it was
obviously
intriguing.
like 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I think the conversation, I think part of it is, you know, you've got flag football now, it's starting to rise, and then the conversation of whether, you know, maybe former NFLers or when, you know, just a chance to go to the Olympics. I think there is that appeal as an athlete, right? And, you know, your former teammate, Razor, Alex Burrows, I think he was like a national champion. He was like a great ball hockey player when he was young. And I believe Nigel Dawes may have been a world ball hockey champion, former guest of the show and friend of the show.
You know who'd be at the Olympics then right now? One of our guests.
Terry. Not Terry Ryan.
Yeah.
TR.
Oh, yeah.
He'd be head coach. He'd be ready to unlock the whole
He'd be over
TR
there.
would be right. He'd be the
TR would be amazing.
He'd be doing everything.
He'd be the executive, the coach, and the captain.
Tarps off on the sideline, right? Just
you
know, a red cup in hand, red solo cup, just living his life.
Terry Ryan would be the face of the Olympics right now.
Can you imagine if he had that platform?
Oh, that'd be incredible. He'd be an instant superstar.
Yeah, the world would be a better place with Terry Ryan as the face of the Olympics. There you go. And on that note, we're going to get back to summering it up, and we'll be back with a few more episodes over the course of the summer. For Kami, Razor, I'm Cybulski. Don't forget, everybody, as we get through the dog days of summer, we can all smile knowing that hockey season is getting closer and closer. So get in the action early and play with BODOG.EU. BODOG's got you covered with all the season props, futures, and yes, you can lock in your pick right now for your Stanley Cup champion. You can make that power play, score big with BODOG. Check out the @BODOG.CA page for details how you can get up to $500 of free cash to play with right now. We will see you next time right here on the Clearing the Crease podcast. See ya.